Hey everyone, this is Ash. Welcome back to the King's Speech. Excuse me. So we're going to get right into it here with Akane-Banashi, Story 25, The Dissappearing Stage, with story by Yuki Suenaga, art by Takamasa Moe, and translation by Stephen Paul, and lettering by Sneer Aaron. We see Akane lounging in her room, reading a book called Row Houses and Lives of the Townspeople. And we pick up with the story. I assume this is the one. Jugumu again. You have, it's the old glue maker. Come right in, ma'am. It's like, I heard your story. You named your baby, didn't you? I thought it would be best to memorize the name before paying my respects, but I had trouble learning the whole thing. It's like, so I had the monk write it down for me. I'll read it from here when I call his name, so please let me know if I've made any mistakes. And you see, and look at you. Why, what a darling little boy you are. So you must be Jugumu Goko no Suriki Rezu Kaijori Sugyo no Sugyo Matsu Ungyo Matsu Furaimutsu Kuneru Tokoro ni Sumu Tokoro Yaburu Koji no Burakoji Paipo no Sharingan Sharingan no Gurundai no Ponpoko Pino Ponpoko Nano Chokiyume no Chosuke. I think she's got. I think the effect of like the long drawn out Chosuke is supposed to be her trying to not sneeze as she's saying it. And you see her just kind of clasping the little paper with the name on it closed. And you see the husband being taken up and like, a sutra? It's like, may his soul rest in peace, with a gong. You see the audience is roaring with laughter as you have my son is still alive, ma'am! And Karashi's like, what am I watching? Is this good or not? The voice actor was good. She went for tears and got him. But I can't even tell what this girl's going for. Is she bad? No. And you have, hi, ma'am. She just seems mediocre because she's so natural. You have, Jugumu! I got more laughs than she did. I'm superior. So why do I feel so sick to my stomach? And you see from the audience, they say that a performer is still second rate if they make the audience focus on how talented they are. But in this case, the performer is disappearing from the stage. When the audience is concentrating so hard on the world the Rakugo is creating, they no longer sense the performer's presence. There are times when you're hit by this illusion when watching a master at work. But who'd guess you'd experience it at the Karaku Cup? And you see you came to see him? I'm sorry. My son Jugumu, I'm not going to say the whole name out loud, but I think you all get the gist. It's like, it's still asleep. It's like, I'll go and wake him up. Just wait here, all right? It's like, oh, look at you. Why are you still sleeping? Come on, get up. Jugumu. Look, no, she said what to saying out the name. You have, never mind, ma'am. I'll just go now so I'm not late to school. And you see the audience is just roaring with laughter again. And you see Koguma silently watching this on one of the little TV screens outside. And he thinks back to telling her, most of the audience can already perform Jugumu. I thought that would work against her. But I suppose being such a familiar story means everyone can easily envision the scenes. And he thinks back to his teacher, asking his teacher, why did I choose Jugumu, you ask? Akane is talented because she makes good use of the fundamentals. She's learned everything I taught her very quickly, even from a young age. But she's too good at it. She's missing something. A deeper, closer connection with the characters' minds. She's skilled enough that she can get by, even with a shallow understanding of the roles. But that leaves her with the facade of an act with no real core. She can't move her audience that way. What is Hachigoro thinking at this point? What about Kumagoro, the retired old man, the monk? You need to get into the characters' minds. It's the outlook. That's what I wanted her to learn. Jugumu is such a simple story, there's almost no room to add jokes or new arrangements. That makes it the perfect opportunity to consider the outlook of the characters. And Koguma was like, you could have just told her that. He's like, but that would be too easy. There's great value in agonizing over these things and reaching the answer on your own. Besides, her seeds are already sprouting. It's only a matter of time before they grow and bear fruit. Jeff, well, this is a problem. It wouldn't be a big deal if she was just good. But her tempo, her rhythm, there's no mistaking it. The one teaching her must be Shiguma Arakawa. And Nick Kim's just kind of glancing over at Isha, who's still kind of just like arms crossed, just watching Akane's performance. Oh, alright. Yeah, so not much to say on this chapter. It feels like it breezed by a lot more than the other one. But again, I like this chapter. Appreciate this chapter of the back. We're getting an explanation of why Shiguma gave her this in the first place. Again, kind of that idea of Akane has mastered the basics, but she hasn't really mastered the basics. And I like the idea that if you want to tell a good story, you have to kind of consider the characters and the motivations if you want to be able to believably sell your audience on the characters and their motivations and get them invested in them. Because again, this being an oral, such a personal performance, if you're not invested in the characters or the story you're telling, it does become so much harder for you to invest the audience in the characters in the story that you're trying to sell. So in that regard, I agree with the teacher being making her understand the basics at such a fundamental level will ensure that she's got kind of a solid ground and footing to be able to kind of develop her own voice and become, a professional Rakugo performer. I also love the fact that, it's a Karashi's kind of doing the whole thing of getting so frustrated because he can't tell if Akane's doing so good or not. But I always come back to the whole the idea with the chefs and cooking, where it's kind of been repeatedly emphasized that making a basic dish that has fewer ingredients is oftentimes harder than making a complex dish with multiple high quality ingredients in it. Because if you have a dish that has fewer ingredients in the recipe, if you screw up any part of the preparation, or if you screw up any of the ingredients, it will stand out that much more in the final dish compared to one that's got more ingredients, more layered flavors, because it's kind of easier to hide the mistakes in there than with a dish that has fewer layers, fewer ingredients. And I think that applies to this as well, where doing such a basic story, but being able to do it well is a mark of, quality storytelling. The fact that Karashi cannot tell that kind of goes hand in hand with his mindset from a couple chapters ago, where he's oh, I don't get what Rakugo's all about. I don't get the fusses. You have to update it for the new audiences. I don't get, how these classics can still be good and stuff like that. It kind of shows how much further he still has to go to kind of catch up to her. But yeah, really, really interested in seeing what Isho's reaction to this is going to be, given that, Shiguma was supposed to be his rival and he did expel one of his students. So yeah, looking forward to that. So as always, I hope you all enjoyed this video. And if you did, please do like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Because like I mentioned, really does help me boost these videos with the algorithm and kind of helps them reach a wider audience. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do consider subscribing to the channel, because I really appreciate trying to get to the magical subscriber number of 169 subscribers by the end of this year if possible. Like I mentioned, I don't know, I didn't mention at the start of this video. Like I mentioned a couple of other videos, my plan is to get to at least 5 chapters of Akane today, and then hopefully over the next week catch up with the rest of them. So hopefully by next weekend, I'll be fully caught up with this series and I'll be able to do weekly reaction reviews for it, along with Kaiju and Spy Family. So look forward to that. And that said, until next time, this is Ash. Talk to you all later.